In Touch with Terri is brought to you by Podium, your all-in-one AI-powered communication platform designed to help your practice convert more leads and increase patient retention. This is In Touch with Terri, a power-packed podcast for the medical aesthetics industry.
I just discovered your podcast, and I feel like I've hit a gold mine.
She's our inspiration.
This is someone who's got a lot of knowledge. She's been there, done that.
Terri Ross is a former Fortune 500 executive, international speaker, founder and CEO of Terri Ross Consulting, and co-founder of the 4S Summit, a sales and business mastery workshop for aesthetic professionals.
Terri is always approachable, always there for you.
It's nice to have somebody in your corner that can say, I got it.
In Touch with Terri will bring you solutions to increase operational and employee efficiency and practice profitability. Plus, feature some of the top industry experts as guests.
Terri, your courses and your podcast are just so helpful.
She made me feel like I could do this.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
Now, here's Terri.
Hey, everybody. How are you? Welcome back to another episode of In Touch with Terri. This is Craziness Season 10, Episode 101. Can't believe it. And in today's episode, we are going to be discussing something that is futuristic. It's going to shake up the industry, which is AI, artificial intelligence, not sci-fi kind of weird shit, but like stuff in a real practical way that is going to help your aesthetic practice grow. You know that on this podcast, every single thing that we do is for the tribe, for us to serve you. So that is in the greatest and best interest of you and your practice and your team. So I mentioned last week on Season 10 that I was really super excited to welcome a new partner to In Touch with Terri. And over the past many seasons, I would get tons of inquiries of people wanting to sponsor the podcast. And candidly, I didn't want to do it. None of them were really perfect for me, my audience, and more importantly, you. So until I really started to build a partnership and a friendship with Podium, I truly was very impressed with their people, their organization, their technology, and what they can do. So much so I was like, shit, can I even have this for Terri Ross Consulting? But it's really hard for me and my team to do what we do when we're consulting with practices, providing sales training, looking at these data and benchmarks and conversions and speed to lead and all these things, if there is no systems and technology. So two things can happen. Either people have a whole bunch of stuff that they don't know how to use, or it's the wrong type of technology. So I was always looking who I could partner with, and Podium they have a very powerful tool that helps aesthetic practices grow, which make it very easy for you guys to collect reviews, text with clients, speed to lead, boost local visibility, their AI technology, which we're going to talk about. So really just after me getting acquainted and comfortable with what they had to offer, I was like, you know what? They would be a perfect partner for me and the audience. And frankly, it's the first sponsor I have had, but it's because I believe in what they do. And I hope that you can find value in their service. And let me just preface, you guys, that I'm not pay to play. Like every single thing we do is always out of integrity and what brings the most value, because that's what my name and company and integrity is about. But I wanted to really have Shannon Blake. She's the director of aesthetic partnerships with Podium. And I wanted to kind of have her because she's been really insightful for me as well, helping me get, more exposure and broaden my horizons into actually what they're seeing on the other side of the industry. So I wanted to get her perspective today, and then we can discuss and talk about some innovative ways that Podium can help you. So Shannon, welcome to the podcast and the tribe. Really happy to have you. I'd love to learn a little bit more about you, not even just what you do currently, like your background and what brought you kind of to Podium.
Yeah. All right. Where do I start? Goodness. So thanks for having me, first of all, and congratulations on 10 seasons. Holy shit, girl.
I know. Thank you so much.
I love meeting people in the industry that are giving back, that are educating, coaching, offering guidance, build cool tools in the industry that serve the aesthetic space and helping these businesses drive up revenue. And my job at Podium is really to partner up strategically with anyone or any group who is leading out in educating or building cool products that support this industry. And it's been a really fun venture. Podium's actually been around for just over 10 years now, but in the aesthetics industry for coming up on 2 years. And it has been a wild ride. It has been so fun. We completely restructured our company, actually, to have a fourth of it live, eat, and breathe the aesthetics industry. And we initially got into it because we saw an opportunity where there was a really big gap in having good modern tech that could help these aesthetic practices compete and speed to lead. And so we knew, okay, we can easily solve some of those problems for them, but we really want to partner up with all aesthetic practices and what other tech can we help build for you all to meet these client expectations in this very competitive industry. And so we have been on a mission over the last 2 years, putting out a lot of new, exciting products. Terri mentioned it earlier, AI is top of our mind, and we have been the first to come out with a very premier AI patient coordinator, which has been really incredible that I'm sure we'll touch on as we have conversation, but we're not stopping anytime soon. We're just constantly taking feedback from these aesthetic practices as this industry continues to evolve and become more and more competitive. We want to keep building the tools that's going to make our aesthetic practice clients' lives easier.
I love that. Thank you so much. Let's shed a little light on, because you said 10 years and then just 2 focused in aesthetics. Where's the 10 years been focused on, and what has Podium kind of really been known for in the past as you transition into aesthetics?
Yeah, so in the past, we've always been focused on supporting local business, and that's shown up in a couple different industries, such as randomly in the automotive industry, specifically on the dealership side, home services and various subverticals such as, HVAC and plumbing and roofing, as well as in retail, specifically in the furniture, mattress, appliance, and jewelry space. And then in healthcare, but in the past, so we've actually been supporting the healthcare industry and working with more traditional medical clinics. But I saw an opportunity where aesthetics was honestly disrupting healthcare. And the future of healthcare, I believe, is going to be owned by these aesthetic and wellness practices because they have learned how to create an experience for their patients. And for anyone listening, when you go to a traditional medical clinic, it's cold. You feel like a number. You don't know the person at the front desk when you walk in. It's just not the same experience you're getting in an aesthetic practice. So I saw a really cool opportunity to, create a partnership ecosystem and start bringing more aesthetic practices onto Podium and being a true partner with them and continuing to evolve a technology product that helps them drive up revenue. But taking us back 10 years, Terri, we actually got started in reputation management. All Podium used to do was help local businesses collect Google reviews in a more modern way, and that was through text. So we really were the first ones to come in and make a business two-way textable where they could then send a text after checkout with a simple Google review link in the text that took them right to the business, Google My Business page. And it made it really easy for people to leave Google reviews for their experience with that particular practice. Took off like wildfire. And since then, we have evolved into a full-blown CRM, client communication, lead consolidation platform where all of your client communications in one place, inclusive of your social media DMs, your leads from your website, whether that's a contact us form or a web chat that moves that conversation to text, or your Google ad leads, your Facebook leads, your phone calls, everything's in one place. So we really have kind of grown our product into a very robust, modern, cool CRM.
Wow. Let's dive in, because every time I hear you say it, and I'm still learning, and I just came back from the aesthetic meet, gave 5 different lectures on so many different things, KPIs, sales trainings, conversions, the journey. And you mentioned the journey, and there's not a day or a time that doesn't go by that people are constantly questioning their practice management, questioning what CRM do I get? How do I take these leads? I mean, it just comes up because it's so in alignment with what I teach. And so this is such a perfect opportunity. In your experience, now working with these aesthetic practices, being very micro-focused in this vertical, and I think it's fantastic and it's needed. How have you seen customer expectations shift as it relates to response time in aesthetic medicine? Because we know that this is vital.
Yeah, such a good question. It's pretty interesting. So when we started engaging with and just having conversations with aesthetic owners, I would say generally when we would ask them, how quickly are you getting back to your client leads, whether it's through a paid ad or just somebody texting into the business or calling in. And 2 years ago, it was same day for the most part. That was the response. And to them, that was good enough. That was really competitive. Within 24 hours, they felt good about. But then we ran a bunch of surveys to clients of aesthetic practices, to hundreds of them. And the expectation, even just almost nearly 2 years ago, was primarily under an hour. That was their expectation. And then ran a more recent survey, and now it's within minutes. And I attribute it to the fact that these consumers, these patients or clients of these aesthetic practices, live in the same world that you and I do, Terri. Like, we live in the world of convenience with the Ubers and the DoorDashes and the Amazon and the delivery of your groceries. Like, the businesses they want to engage with need to make it easy, and they need to get information fast. It needs to be easy to book. It's no more an hour that is good enough. It's minutes.
Yeah. And it's instant gratification. So I love that you took the time to do, get some real facts and get some real data, not just from practices, but on the consumer side. So I know that many practices, especially if you're small, frankly, whatever size, but you don't have a huge team. And then you have somebody checking in the patients, checking out the patients. The phones are ringing to book. And then you have leads coming in. And you're like, shit, well, Terri, I hear you that I'm supposed to do it within 5 minutes, but I don't know how I'm supposed to do it. And I know we're going to get into this whole AI coordinator. So maybe let's table this for a second, because I'm sure all of you guys listening right now, you're like, that's me. I don't have enough staff. And what am I going to do? So listen, let's just even cut to the chase. What are all the features and functions that it can do that help practices that are invested in their business? And, I know there's going to be some training in this AI coordinator, and we're going to get there. What are all the capabilities that it can do?
Yeah, I get asked often, like, who are the competitors to Podium? And I would say nobody does everything that we do, but there's little pockets of great companies out there that do some of what we do. But one of the things that we're trying to solve inside Podium is consolidate. We hear it over and over and over again that the technology in aesthetics is very fragmented.
It is,
and we've got partners of other technology companies, and they agree. And we're talking strategy of how do we solve for some of this. But Podium specifically, we're very proud that we are all of your communication in a single place. That's what's really unique. You probably, for Terri's tribe, they probably don't have a phone system that's integrated with their texting platform, which Podium offers. Where that's really nice is you've got a phone system that any missed calls instantly move to a text message, and then you start layering on AI, which we'll talk about in a second. But now you've got an extension of your team that's working 24/7, responding to leads right away. And you've also got within Podium your text marketing. So another problem that we hear often is we're communicating with our clients from too many different phone numbers. We're maybe doing a little bit of texting through our EMR. Appointment reminders are coming from a number. You've got a phone system that's a different phone number. You've got maybe your just general texting that you use often, or your text marketing's coming from a 5-digit code. It's too fragmented. So we're really proud that we bring that all into one solution. So it's not just your phones, but it's your texting, it's your text marketing. Everything's coming from a single phone number, which enhances the patient experience. And I'm sure you could all agree. Getting a message from a business from different phone numbers is very confusing. You don't know which one's textable. You don't know which one to save in your phone if you want to be able to easily contact them in the future. So just having all your client communication, all your leads in one place, that's a robust communication platform. Because some people are like, oh, I can text through my EMR. EMRs are incredible for what they were built to be. Yeah. They were built to help you with billing and charting and appointment scheduling. They're really good at that. But they weren't built first and foremost to manage leads and consolidate all your client communication. So that's really where Podium comes in and helps solve that problem.
Oh, God, I love it. I love it. Okay, so if practices are a little bit hesitant, especially with AI, and maybe it's just a lack of training. Hell, I'm still learning how to, really get my arms around it without fear of compromising the personalization, still providing, which is what I believe in, a very humanistic approach still. How do you kind of marry the two together?
Yeah. So, oh my gosh, Terri, this fear comes up all the time is they're like, Shannon, but you don't understand. Like, we're a human company. We live off of the relationships we build with our clients. We're a family. We don't want to outsource that to an AI patient coordinator. What I would say to that, and it's a very fair, I'm glad people are pausing and thinking about that because it's a very fair concern. What I would say is, there is a lot of your business where your client base is okay with just messaging you, whether it's a lead that just wants to learn a little bit more about a treatment. Maybe they just want to know the price of something. Maybe they want to understand what the downtime is, the pain level is. They don't need to talk to a human for that, because with the rollout of OpenAI, which I'm sure you've all heard of, if you haven't heard of OpenAI, you've definitely heard of ChatGPT, same company. When they released ChatGPT, that changed the entire game for AI. Longer the days when AI bots just were clunky, robotic, they weren't accurate. That's since gone. So now with OpenAI, companies like Podium have come in and created human-like employees off the backs of OpenAI, which it gets really exciting because they're very conversational. They can be trained on your price points, your new member discounts, your cancellation fees, all your treatments, your pricing. How do you want them to speak about your treatments? It's all trained on the back end, which makes it really fun. So leveraging AI for the messaging stuff, I think, is where people win, because guess what? What you shared, Terri, about that visual of your front desk, checking people out, checking people in, answering phone calls, managing reschedules. It's so chaotic. Now think about if you had an AI patient coordinator that if there was a phone ringing, you can let it go to a missed call. You know your AI patient coordinator is going to pick up and start texting that lead, while your front desk or office manager at the front is nailing that check-in and check-out and really spending quality time with that client who is in your practice right then. That you can't replace with AI, but I guarantee you there's moments at that front desk where they shortcut a checkout, and maybe they could have talked about memberships or an event you have coming up. Just something to build that relationship. Yeah. They get that time now if they have AI.
Yeah. God, I mean, we could probably have this podcast for a day, like a literally a working session. I want to pick this apart a little bit because I love things to be controversial, and it's more of a healthy dialogue because I love it. I love it for the reasons you said. Let's pick apart that I teach the value of credentialing, right? Credentialing Dr. Blake, right? Credentialing the practice, credentialing the provider, creating the unique value proposition. Now, sure, could I train Avery, right? Could I train this AI coordinator? 1,000,000%. So I think there's this fine line between training it to be able to answer questions that somebody gets all the time, right? Yep. But then on the flip side of what I teach is like, sure, could somebody give a range? But I can teach somebody to get around the price objection. Could you train, isn't her name Avery, right? Is that what you like?
Her name's Avery, but you can call it whatever you'd like.
We can you guys can all get your own personal person, right? But we can, I think, even what I did with my own ChatGPT, I created like Terri Ross, me, right? So it knows me. It knows me now, what I do, what I believe in, what I teach. So if I use it, it's for me, right? And so can you teach it to that or train it to that degree?
Absolutely. And what's cool about it is when we actually first launched Avery, the AI patient coordinator, any training adjustments had to go through their customer success manager at Podium. And quickly we realized people love to have the power to make adjustments. And as new questions come in, they're like, oh my gosh, I want to add this to Avery's training on the back end. And so we made some adjustments and gave full reign to the practice to go in and add credentials of their physicians, like whatever is important to that practice. There's always new stuff that comes up and new devices that you buy or, some new treatment you offer at the practice. So it takes ongoing training, but absolutely, Terri, all of that can be done on the back end, and the power of doing that is given to the practice themselves.
Thank you for that clarification. I think too, I was with hundreds of surgeons around the world these last 5 days. And whether it's med spas, surgical practices, if we're looking at demographics, sociographic, psychographic, right, who your avatar is, there are those people, you're right, that don't want to talk on the phone. They want texting. They want information, and it's almost trying to mirror and even get me out of my own comfort zone a little bit to say, please believe and don't deviate from what I teach, right? What we teach. But now if there's a way to teach it with your AI person, it still gives the level of what you said, humanistic to the degree that you can. And then if it's especially for a surgical person, right, then somebody needs to get on the phone to do the rest. And I think right now, when we're looking at the industry, we don't know what's going to happen, down 17%, staffing's hard, compensation's hard, people don't want to stay, and they don't want to stay because they're not trained. We just don't have a choice but to pay attention to technology like yours or whatever somebody wants to look at, right? And say, where are the gaps? And I love the word that you used is solve, because it is, where are the gaps in your business? And then what technology can we use to solve it?
And can I just add one more thing?
Of course.
Terri? When you say gaps in the business, this is relevant for any business owner. I want you to think about your own individual practice. But if you think about how much of your website traffic is happening after you're closed, from our experience, it's sitting around 35 to 40%, which is a lot. And so if you think about that and you say, okay, I have 30 to 35, 40% of the interest coming in after hours. That makes sense given who the strike zone client is in the aesthetics industry. Maybe it's a stay-at-home mom that's busy with her children all day, and the moment she gets to herself is after she's cooked dinner and babies are in bed. It could be a working mother that's getting home from work again, making sure all the kids are taken care of, or herself and just getting a breather. They're not really looking into these treatments until you're closed. And so what's your solution to be able to meet those client expectations and getting back to these folks within minutes while still having a work-life balance for yourself? It's not realistic for you to be responding to these leads within minutes at 10 o'clock at night. So it gets exciting thinking about an AI patient coordinator because they're 24/7. They don't take PTO. They don't have emotional days from a boyfriend breakup.
Love it. I love it. So what factors should a practice consider when they're evaluating this new person and they're investigating in technology, right? I mean, we always hear shit's expensive. It's too expensive. I don't need it. I have this and I have that. I think it's really important. And I want to preface for my tribe and you guys listening. Yeah, it is. It is an investment to be an owner and an entrepreneur and to have an aesthetic practice. But if you're going to have it, what I care for you, and I'm Shannon too, is that it is running so seamlessly, so systematically, so efficiently that you can go home at night, not have these headaches. So what should practices consider?
Yeah. So when you're shopping for an AI patient coordinator, here are a couple things that I would encourage you to ask when you're reaching out to these technology companies. So one, coming from a gal who works at a company who has built a feature like this, it's quite expensive and it takes a lot of work. We have 150 engineers at Podium, and it still was a big undertaking to build. So I would ask the company, how long have they been around? Understand the reputability of the company. Because if they're a small company who's just getting on the bandwagon of, ooh, this AI thing's really cool, I see dollar signs, I could build something, I wouldn't trust if a company hasn't been around and have proven reputability in this industry, because they will run out of money pretty fast trying to build something that's really quality. And then I would also ask them what LLM, that's learning language model, is their AI built on the backs of. So I mentioned one, AI, OpenAI. That's the one that Podium's AI patient coordinator is built off of. But Google's got one, Facebook's got one. Hell, China's even launched theirs called DeepSeek. There's a lot of really reputable ones out there, but just make sure to ask them what model that the AI patient coordinator, or what AI, their features they have, what LLM they're built off of. So that's a good one. I would also really understand what the training looks like, and if you have access to continue training, and if not, what's the process to make tweaks to the way that your AI patient coordinator is responding to or adding more training, to your point. So that's another one. I would ask to play with the AI. See it in action before you buy it. Any good company offering something like this is going to let you take their AI for a test drive.
So we talked about speed to lead. We did a webinar a couple weeks ago. We talked about instant gratification and the Ubers and the DoorDash and all these things. How can practices effectively nurture the leads that don't convert immediately. So it looks like you guys have an opportunity to help to get, to do the speed to lead thing.
Yep.
But if they're not converting, then what happens?
Yeah, good question. So I would say if you don't have a good CRM that can not only help you get back to the new leads faster, but you guys know you're not going to convert every single new lead that comes through the door. So within your CRM, having the ability to track these leads in various stages. The stages should be customized by you. But what I would say is the most important is when you've got somebody who says no right now, not no forever, no right now, having a status where you can move it into, let's call it nurture, for instance, having that nurture status where once you put them in there, you then have this beautifully organized process where now you've put them into a drip campaign where you can have 4, 5 text messages go out to that lead over X period of time, all customized by you. Each text says your own strategic message that you want based on it being the first follow-up text message and the last, where at any point they reply to that automated text campaign. It ends that drip campaign. You need stuff like that, like automations where it's easy for you to set back and not stress that, oh, we didn't convert this right now. That lead's going to slip through the cracks and that money we paid to get that lead in the door is now gone. Having a CRM that allows you to do those text drip campaigns and have statuses is going to be really critical.
Mm-hmm. I mean, look, this goes for any business, including my own, right? And these are the things that, when we're thinking about a practice, the people that you have on your team, I'm going to go back to training, right? What's their job, their description, the KPI they're held to, the training that, you've provided to them, because things like this, whether it's what I do for, practices or what your technology can do for practices, we have to invest in that training piece so that everybody understands how to set up these sequences. So what did I say? And I keep saying it, there's guesswork, there's hard work, or you can get a framework, right? And that's going to save you so much time and money. But I think that that's fantastic. And let's go back to texting because you talked about that. Again, for this base of patients who appreciate or would more prefer texting, phone calls still represent a very significant portion of the business. I mean, they just do. I know that because that's where we spend a lot of our time training on the front end. And it's such an important role, the phone, that human element, that first connection. I think they can make or break that shit in 3 to 5 seconds. So how have you seen AI play a role in helping to convert phone leads equally as effective as what you've shared with texting and messaging?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. If you've got a traditional phone system that essentially does the basics, allows you to answer a phone conversation, if you've got some voicemails that transcribe, that's all great. But there's really cool phone solutions out in the market. I'll tell you, the experience Podium, when we built our phone system, that was actually the final piece of the client communication platform. We knew we were hyped on text. Text has a 98% open rate. Phones was older and antiquated, but like you said, Terri, there are still people that like to pick up the phone and call. So when we built it, we knew we wanted to have some convenience and modern features, and have even since added some AI. So let me walk you through what an experience is for a practice that uses a phone system like Podium. And do your shopping, because there's other really cool phone systems out there too that are trying to be innovative and incorporate AI. But what we wanted was, okay, we stand by. We want all of our clients to be able to respond to every single lead within 2 minutes. So that's inclusive of phone leads. And we know everyone has missed calls. So when your phone rings and nobody answers, whether it's during hours or after hours, that immediately turns into a text conversation. So they get a text right away that says, thank you so much for calling your business. And this message can be customized. But so sorry we missed your call. We open tomorrow at X time. However, in the meantime, we're happy to answer any questions that you might have via text. And then comes in the AI patient coordinator to have a very human conversation with that missed call. You've got now their cell phone number, you have their name, you've got an active open text conversation going on. That's really powerful because the alternative is ring, 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 voicemail. Maybe they leave one. We'll see if they do. I don't leave voicemails anymore.
Bye with no information, and then I'm bitching about it, and then you just pay for it. I love it.
Yeah. So now you've got your missed phone call that's in the same thread as maybe it's a client that called you, and you can see all the text messages you've had with them. They responded to this text marketing message. Now you see a missed call from them. Here's their voicemail. It's transcribed. And Terri, I know this is one of your favorite things. AI quickly takes if it is an active phone conversation, it will take the entire conversation and spit out 4 or 5 bullets of what was discussed on that call, which gets really fun for owners who want to have a better idea of how are their employees speaking to these leads, speaking to the clients? Are they giving out the right information? Are they incorporating the training that you just talked about with them last week? Are they talking about that event you have coming up? You don't have to listen to all the phone calls. Nobody has time for that.
Yeah.
For you to be able to go into Podium and just quickly see the summary of the call that was what calls came in that day, it gets really exciting. It gives you a better pulse on what's going on in your business.
I swear to God. I mean, I know it is like such an evolution of, I don't even know what to say. It seriously makes me so happy. Because this is, and it does, because do you know, I mean, I probably have stacks of leads of people suffering, practices around the world, around the country. Half of the people just were in my Germany, Asia, India, like they're suffering from the same stuff. And if we just take a minute and really say, while we're wrapping up Q1, and I'm going to challenge you guys, my tribe listening to this. What are your expectations for your practice this year? Like, what are your growth goals? Do you have a forecast? Do you listen to calls? I mean, is that piece suffering? What is your team saying to what Shannon just said? If we just took a minute to actually investigate every piece of your business in each component, and then let's plug in the why. Let's plug in the why and the how and the what, because we can solve it. And I mean, I don't know, this just tickles me pink. I know we are like kind of coming down to the wire. I have one last question. What other additional AI capabilities do you foresee that are really emerging into the space that are going to help with this engagement? And then we've talked already a lot about all the amazing things that Podium can do. I'd really love if anyone is interested in a demo or wants to get a hold of you, how can they really take full advantage, if nothing else, of what you guys can offer to help these practices?
Yeah. I'll start with the AI, what's coming down the pipe from an AI perspective, and then we'll end on that. So I've actually been going to a lot of conferences lately, and it's really fun to hear what other technology companies are doing with AI. So if you haven't yet, all of you should be contacting any tech company you work with and asking them, what are they building? What do they already have? Because guaranteed they're going to have some kind of AI. And then what are they building? And make sure you're in front of it, because we even struggle with Podium's always putting out new products, and it's hard to keep even our clients in the know of everything. So be proactive, reach out, ask what they already have, ask what's coming so you can start thinking about how you can incorporate it to save you time and drive revenue. As far as what's coming down the pipe for us, we are hyper-focused on voice. AI voice. So this is right now we've got AI that handles all your messaging, but we want to have the ability for outbound calling for things like appointment reminders, or maybe you need a fast way for somebody to communicate out that event that you have coming up around the corner. Maybe you just bought a new device and you want to create excitement, but you don't have the staff to pick up the phone and call everyone in your client base. So the ability for voice outbound, and then we will have voice inbound. So the ability for people to call in and they'll be talking to somebody whose voice you get to choose. Maybe it's somebody's voice. Maybe it's just a fun accent, somebody from New Zealand. Right. But you'll get to have fun with it. And that's for after hour calls, even during hour. That'll all be up to you. But the option of voice is coming.
I'm going to be that AI voice in there teaching them all my crazy techniques. How about that? It's like you get a voice bobblehead Terri. Wouldn't that be amazing? Well, this is so crazy too, because in Austin, when you go to get the Uber, have you guys seen, this is crazy, the cars with no driver? I mean, it's nuts. So look, it's here. It's coming. I don't know what's going to happen. I know people are probably like, oh shit, no one's going to have a job these days. You know, my little daughter, Sloane's 11. What's going to happen? But I always learn every time we talk or we're on the phone, a different feature and a function and such really incredible stuff that, like I said, I can only do so much. I can give people the tools and the training and the strategies and the tactics and that. And then I need something like this to pull it through. So we gave so many valuable things just in terms of general questions, things to consider, you guys thinking about your practice. And if there are any gaps in your practice, if this is an area of opportunity that you know you could improve, what I don't want you to do is spend money and marketing that everyone's very easily ready to do, ready to be at a conference and drop $100,000 to $300,000 on technology. I'm asking you to maybe rethink some of your purchases and consider how we can nurture your patients, right? Bring in better technology, bring in better training. And there's no better time than right now while we're still in the midst of early 2025. So Shannon, how do people get a demo, get a hold of you? Of course, you guys can always DM me and I can give you a special code, but let's get into that, girl.
Yeah, Terri's Tribe, of course, gets special pricing. So make sure when you're talking to our team that you mention that you're part of this community. But I'm going to be bold and just give out my cell phone number, and not just for demos. Anyone who is excited about AI, who has an idea, who has maybe a gap still that you need a tech company to solve, we would love nothing more to hear from you, because we love collaborating with aesthetic practices on what's the next cool thing we're going to build. So here's my cell number. Grab out your phones. So Shannon Blake. Save me as a contact. I'm your girl at Podium. If you need anything or just want to chat innovation or see a demo, my cell is 801-979-8096. And then Terri, I believe there will probably be a link in the show notes too for anyone who wants to just request a demo from there.
Yes, 100%. And Shannon, if they want a demo, do you have an email? Is there a demo in the link? And yes, you guys, everything, a summary will be in the show notes. All of her contact information will make this very easy. And then you guys, you can always DM me and my Insta and go on my website as well. We just want to make sure you guys are taken care of. But is there a link, Shannon?
Yeah, so you can also email me at shannon.blake@podium.com. So it's just my first name, .blake@podium.com. But I'm a text gal. We're a texting company, so feel free to text me. But if you prefer email, feel free to email me.
All right, guys. Well, I love y'all so much. Shannon, thank you. This was really insightful. Thanks for being here with me. Thanks for just being another girl boss, somebody is badass and really paving the way for innovation in the industry. Thank you so much. I have equal respect for you and what you guys do. So I appreciate that. And Tribe, I love you always. You make this so possible for me every single day, and everybody that I bring onto the show and the feedback I get. You guys are constantly giving me different tips and ideas and questions and support that you need from me. So if you found this valuable, I would love to ask that you send it off to your colleagues, your friends, share it. And as always, please leave me a message. And your feedback means the world to me. And I cannot wait to see you guys on the next episode of In Touch with Terri. Ciao.
Thanks for listening to In Touch with Terri, brought to you by Podium, the all-in-one AI-powered communication platform helping thousands of practices convert more leads and increase patient retention. If you'd like to take your practice further faster, Terri Ross has launched her business and sales mentorship for the first time, and it's available to everyone. No more spending thousands on conferences. Get Terri's expert knowledge for a fraction of the cost. Head over to patreon.com/Terri Ross Consulting and sign up now. We'll have the link in the episode notes to get you in on this groundbreaking offer. This is your chance to get ahead, so don't miss it.